keeping this covenant. Man's had enough of it. Trust. My people are suffering every day. The sin that we smothered in. It seems like we loving it. Do we? Cause we never stopping it.
Psalms 102 verse 24. I said, oh my God, take me not away in the midst of my days. Thy years are throughout all generations. Of old hast thou laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the work of thy hands. They shall perish, but thou shalt endure. Yea, all of them shall wax old like a garment. As a vesture shalt thou change them, and they shall be changed.
Cool. So in the society we're living now, and everything we're living in right now, everything you see around you has been created by the Most High God. Everything that you see is gonna wax old. Everything that you see is gonna spoil. You know, it's gonna mold. You know, it's gonna rust. But the only thing that doesn't is the Most High God, because He's the Alpha. He's the one that created all these things. Read that.
Malachi 3 verse 6.
Yeah.
For I am the Lord, I change not.
Sorry, sister. Have you got 2 minutes for the word of God? 2 minutes. What country are you from?
See that?
Read that.
For I am the Lord,
Yeah.
I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
The Lord Himself does not change. Neither does His words, because His words will not turn back into void. When He says things, it's going to come to pass. Whatever is written will happen. There's no way that the Lord's going to say something and He's going to go back on His word. For He stands on His word, and so should we. Yes, sister, have you got 2 minutes for the word of God? Sorry guys, what country are you guys from?
What country you from, sir? See that?
Yes, brother. Yes, brother. Have you got 2 minutes for the word of God? Can I read that again?
Malachi 3 verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not.
Yeah.
Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
So the Lord doesn't change, man. The Lord doesn't change. Whatever He says, or whether He's done, He's going to do it. And whether it says will come to pass. Yes, brother. Are you a Christian? Do you believe in Christ? Have you got 2 minutes for the word of God?
Yeah.
Hey sister, sorry, have you got 2 minutes for the word of God? What country are you from? Yes, brother. Listen, have you got?
I just want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, of course, man. What country are you from?
My dad.
Spanish? Not like what, just like,
Dad.
Your dad's Spanish? Your dad? Gambian. Alright. Now, where do you see, are you a Christian, man? Do you believe in the Bible? Do you believe in the Bible? Now, what would you say you stand on? What are your principles? What would you say, what makes you a man? What makes you who you are?
Where's Kane?
See that?
It was right behind you.
Smell it.
Yes, bro. Sorry. What makes you who you are? What makes you the person you are today? What's your principle? Sorry? Yeah. Alright, now, being the son of the Most High, what does God require of you?
I'm heathen, isn't it?
Most High? Because that's true, you are the son.
Yeah, to follow the instructions from our own.
Now, can you read that?
Deuteronomy 10 verse 12.
Yep.
And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all His ways, and to love Him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord and His statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good.
So what you just said is right. Being a son of God, what God requires from us is to walk in His ways and to walk in His instructions, as you said. Now, because you said what, your dad's Gambian, right? Now, you would be a child of Israel. You would be an Israelite according to the Bible. Have you ever heard of the Israelites? Yeah. You get, Deuteronomy 7 verse 6. Now, the Israelites are God's chosen people. God has a special people. Have you ever thought to yourself, just in general, like, I feel a bit different, like, I feel a bit, like, I feel like I'm better than everyone else.
Not better, but yeah, definitely different and yeah, the older self.
Okay, let me show you what the Bible actually says.
Deuteronomy 7 verse 6.
Yeah.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Now the word holy means set apart or different. So the Lord's saying that you are set apart. You read it?
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto Himself.
Yeah.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Above what?
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
You said before, you think that you're not above, but what the Almighty God said is that you actually are above all people.
Well, yeah, then they have to follow my instructions if I follow the commandments of the Most High. But if I don't follow them, they don't have to follow me, and yeah.
Deuteronomy 4 and verse 6. Now, that will happen. But that only happens when we ourselves actually come back to the Most High and follow His commandments.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6, verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Where people can actually listen to you.
Grab his dog, man.
It's when you actually start following God's commandments. When you start to follow, when you start to follow God's commandments and be the one that actually takes instruction from God, then you have the power, the ability to have wisdom and to be able to have people. Because He said, as a son of God, you believe that people should come and listen to you, and that only happens when you keep the Lord's statutes, the law, statutes, and commandments. And that's the issue of today. Because that's the issue of today. A lot of our people have forgotten the law, statutes, and commandments. A lot of our people have forgotten God's commands, and that's why when you look around, especially with our people, that's why we're living in the situation that we're in today. And you have the position and the ability to change that. You just said that when you want to have people to listen to you, people can come and listen to you. That can happen, and that can actually happen if you keep the laws yourself. But let me show you the issue of today.
Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou should be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children.
Cool. So now what's going on? Sorry, bro. So now what's going on is that right now we're forgotten people, right? We're forgotten people. God has forgotten us.
See that?
So, you listen here? So right now we're forgotten people. God has forgotten us because as a people,
we don't follow His commandments, so the light comes dim and Lucifer comes through, and that's why you can't get that high.
Exactly.
It brings you down.
Exactly. And right now we're walking in darkness because if you go Proverbs 6 and verse 23, because what the law is actually the light that we're supposed to be given, and you can get that.
Malachi 2 verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth.
So as you just said, you want to be a person where people come and listen to you. You have the ability to become a priest, but in order to become a priest or prophet, exactly, but in order to become a priest or prophet, the law must come out of your mouth. And before the law comes out of your mouth, you yourself must be keeping those laws. Do you understand? Because there's no way, Psalms 111 verse 10, there's no way that you'll be able to have the understanding and the wisdom to give out instruction and to give out the law unless you are keeping it yourself.
I feel that.
Psalms 111 verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
So the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Before you can attain wisdom, you must fear the Lord thy God first. You read that?
A good understanding have all they that do His commandments.
Yes, so you will be given great understanding and good understanding. If you yourself are keeping the commandments, then you'll be having the opportunity and the position to then teach others to do the same thing. Now, what commandments do you say you would know of? Is there any commandments that you say you know?
Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not fornicate. A woman that's not your wife.
Now that's good enough. That's good enough.
There's 600 of them.
See that?
Yeah. And you know that. Let's get a few more.
My mom is Jewish, right?
All right.
I know that. From my black side, it's Jewish as well. Cool. Jew.
Actually, you get 28 verse 15. You get whatever. Now we're going to give you a few laws that you may not have heard of and may not have, they're not taught as much, but that's still the reason why we're in the situation we're in, because not enough people are rising up to teach our people our laws. Like you said, not enough people like you can have the opportunity to do that because we're not being taught these things. Read that.
Leviticus 11 verse 7.
Yeah.
And the swine.
Do you know what the swine is?
Pork.
Exactly. Do you eat pork? Okay, cool.
We'll praise him.
Though he divide the hoof
Yeah.
and be cloven footed,
Yeah.
yet he cheweth not the cud. He's unclean. He's unclean to you.
Yeah. So the Lord God said himself that pork we're not supposed to eat, and these laws are the laws that are not being kept, and it's the reason why we're in the situation we're in today. I'll give you another one. Exodus 20 and verse 8, and then I'll also get Leviticus 23, start from verse 3. Now, do you know what today is? So today is the Sabbath day. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it. Yeah. Now, you got that?
Exodus chapter 20 verse 8.
Yep.
Remember the Sabbath day.
Yeah. So the Lord, so the Lord thy God, He's told us to remember.
Peace and rest, peace and rest.
Exactly.
To keep it holy.
Yeah.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
So the Lord has given us 6 days. So obviously, do you know when the day starts? The week starts. Sorry.
Sunday.
Exactly. So He's given us from Sunday to Friday to work. But then from Friday sundown, because days are from sundown to sundown, from Friday sundown, that is the Sabbath day of the Lord.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
Yeah.
In it thou shalt not do any work.
Yeah.
Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter,
Yeah.
thy manservant, nor thy maidservant,
Yeah.
nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Yeah. So the Lord has given us one day in which we're supposed to dedicate it to Him. The Lord has given us one day in which we're supposed to dedicate it to Him. Because He's given us 6 days to do whatever we want to do. But the 7th day, the Sabbath day, the Saturday, is the day that is solely dedicated to the Lord.
Well,
in
you
which,
not go to the synagogue?
well, yeah, we have like we congregate.
We're not Jewish. We're not Jewish.
But that's the thing.
We're not Jewish.
I don't want you to get mixed up with what Jewish is, because, for example, you're an adult, right? And if you're acting childish, are you a child? You're not a child, you're an adult. That's the same thing about being Jewish. They're called Jewish. It's a suffix. It's something that they're pretending, they're acting like Jews, but they're actually not.
They are descendants of Abraham as well.
But that's the thing. That's where we get the confusion. Get me.
You lot, yeah, we're Israelites because of our blood, right? They still have that blood. It's just, yeah.
Let me show you
They
other
got
ones.
mixed up more, but yeah, still.
Revelation 3 and 9.
Israelites.
Revelation.
No. They're not Israelites. They're not Israelites.
Let me show you.
Revelation 2 verse 9.
Yeah.
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty.
Let me ask you a question. The still-called Jewish people of today, are they going through tribulation? Or are they in poverty?
Huh?
Brother, where? Where are they in poverty? Where are they in tribulation?
They go, regardless of how much wealth you go through, in your mind, you go through financial problems, everyone.
But as a
Even the
nation,
richest person goes through shit.
yeah.
But I'm not making as much as yesterday, maybe.
I hear
Everyone.
that. I hear that.
Regardless of how much you make.
I hear that, but as a nation of people, are they going through tribulation?
They are.
The same way black people.
But yeah, you're right. The tribe of Judah, right? That one did go into captivity, and they're supposed to be the ones that lead the other nations through their good works, but they didn't do that. So the curse was upon them to be second citizens really in political power.
Sorry, say that again.
The descendants of Esau, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is it about the descendants of Esau? So right now you'd be saying that the so-called Jewish man or the so-called Jew is Esau, but that wouldn't make sense because Jacob was the son of Jacob was the chosen seed, right? And Esau was actually I get that
Genesis.
Because there's a distinction. From the Israelites came through the line of Jacob, right? But then the so-called Jews of today or Jewish people of today, they don't fall under that line.
Can't.
Let me show you that.
Walk around on the next side. Having a conversation. Look up.
Sorry?
Use your eyes.
Esau's family with Abraham, right?
Yes.
I'll cut through that conversation. He's just scoffing in the background.
Genesis chapter
Well, I feel
25.
like ultimately, I feel like the conclusion of this is that we're all one. And that, we should all follow the commandments and instructions of the Most High. It's not about separating yourselves and saying, well, we are the ones that
We're having a conversation. If I walk through your conversation, you won't like that.
not out here.
All right, man. Thanks, man.
Cool. Now, you see the cool. Now, the law, statutes, and commandments.
That's a coon. That's just a coon, isn't it?
The law, statutes, and commandments. Who are they given?
Just a coon.
To the Israelites.
Okay, cool. Now, if it was given to the Israelites, how can other nations try and keep the law, statutes if it wasn't given to them? Let me
Well, that's the point.
Psalms
The Israelites should lead by
147
example.
verse 19.
Yeah, read.
He showeth his word unto Jacob,
Yeah.
his statutes and his
And
judgments
it's up to
unto
Israelites for the
Israel.
other nations to live by their commandments as well.
Sorry.
I don't put your face in.
Psalms 147 verse 19.
Yeah.
He showeth his word unto Jacob.
So he showed first of all, he showed his word onto Jacob, right? Read it.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
So he showed his statutes and his judgments onto Israel. Yeah.
He hath not dealt so with any nation.
He has not what?
He hath not dealt so with any nation.
So the Lord, he didn't do that with any other nation. He gave his not only his word, but his judgments to Israel and Israel alone. Read that, Sirach 17 verse 17.
Book of Sirach, chapter 17, verse 17.
Yeah.
For in the division of nations, the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people.
So there's a divide of nations around the earth, right? And each nation has their own ruler. Keep reading.
But Israel is the Lord's portion.
But what?
But Israel is the Lord's portion.
So the Lord's portion is Israel. That's why he's only dealing with the Israelites. Read that again.
Deuteronomy 32, verse 8.
Yeah.
When the
Most
Most
is so bad because the Israelites are not following the words of the Most High, and until they pattern, the whole world won't follow, and we'll still be living in this madness, which will end because the human alone won't be able to do it.
Take care.
It'll be through spirits, and the spirits are angry.
Exactly. And the reason why is because at the moment, the people that are ruling are the wicked. The righteous people are
Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2.
Yeah.
When the righteous are in authority,
Yeah.
the people rejoice.
Yeah.
But when the wicked beareth rule,
Yeah.
the people mourn.
Exactly. And what we see right now is that people are mourning. We're in the time of mourning because the righteous are not in authority. And the righteous being
Being happy doesn't change the world.
but I'm not talking about happiness. I'm talking about the fact that at the moment, the people that are running this world are the wicked. Get Job 9 and verse 24. Sorry? With the people that are ruling at the moment, is that what I'm saying?
That's a so-called Jewish man that's ruling, man. What are you talking about, man?
Well, just before you leave, we give you a leaflet. Just look through it.
They were a leaflet, but I think you want to a leaflet.
He's on a confusion thing, fam. You're on a confusion thing talking about Jewish, dude. On his mum's side.
His mum's Jewish.
Yeah.
That's why he was saying.
Synagogue and that. I Salakia, back up.
Yes, man. What country are you from?
Let's
Jamaica.
back up a little bit. Salakia, let's back
Yeah.
up, back up,
Alright.
back up,
Are
back
you-
up.
Okay. So where's the word Jamaica in the Bible? Where's the word Jamaica in the Bible? What does God call you? Sorry? This can you come closer?
You're not going to be on camera.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
No worries, no
Okay.
I'm saying come with this so you can hear. You're not going to be on camera. if you don't want to.
Now I just want to show you something because God has already He has an identity for you. He has a God-given identity before time began. Go to Matthew 25 and read verse 46. Because God has his chosen people. I get 27 and 6. He has his chosen people, right? And it's our job out here to show you that you are more than just Jamaican. You're more than the word. Even Jamaican means wood and water. You're more than that. Do you know what I mean? God has given you identity that precedes any identity that the world can give you. And in that identity, you'll be able to live according to what God has chosen you to live. Get that?
Matthew 25, verse 46.
Yeah.
And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, with the righteous into...
Actually, no. Is that
24.
46. Oh, so that's 26.
No, actually, don't worry. We read that.
This is book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6.
Yep.
For thou art an holy people
Yep.
unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people.
So the Lord has chosen you, sir, to be a special person unto him. And it's all well and good knowing that God has chosen you to be a special person, but it's important to know how to live, because now you know you're a special person, you need to know what God requires of you. Now, do you know who these people are actually? Like the God's chosen people might be in the Bible. Do you know what they were referred to or their name? Alright, get Deuteronomy 29 verse 1. Because there's a particular people in the Bible that God has chosen to be his people, and he has only given his laws, as we said read earlier, his laws, his statutes, his judgments only to that people. Read that.
Deuteronomy 29 verse 1.
Yep.
These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel.
With the what?
With the children of Israel.
With the what?
With the children of Israel.
So these are the people, the children of Israel. These are God's chosen people, and we're going to identify you with them to show you that you would be a child of Israel. You got that?
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15.
Yep.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
Yep.
to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
So what's happening is, have you heard of Moses in the Bible? So when Moses took the Israelites out of captivity, he said unto them, cool, he's given them the law, but he said, if you guys don't keep the laws that has been given unto you, then there's going to be curses that are going to be overthrown upon you. Get 28 verse 46. So by the way we understand who we are is by understanding the curses that were given unto us because we didn't keep his law, statutes, and commandments.
Right. Deuteronomy 28 verse 46.
Yep.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
Now when you look at a sign, what is it to? It shows you, it's like almost like an identifier.
Right.
So you use it to identify whatever that is or whatever you are or whoever you are. Do you know what I'm saying?
And for a wonder.
Yep.
And upon thy seed forever.
Upon our seed for what?
Forever.
So these curses will be a sign upon our seed forever. So that will be used. So that means that forever, this will be used to identify Israel or identify us as being the children of Israel. Now, read verse 16.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 16.
Yep.
Cursed shall thou be in the city.
Now, if you think about it, if you look whatever city right now, even in who would you say is cursed in the city? What race of people are cursed in the city?
This race? Majority of way still, it's hard still.
Sorry?
It's very hard for majority of way still.
Okay, so in majority, what majority of people, what majority race of people do you see slanging packs on the street, or homeless on the floor, or shooting each other, or killing each other?
If they're killing and shooting, at the moment, they get about 50, 60, 65. You know?
So what
they
race?
don't measure up, because some they have the black, some they have the kind of different nation doing that kind of madness, you know.
So what majority, what nation shows that the majority?
They're not pulling together, it's a black nation.
The black nation.
Right.
Okay, cool. Now read, finish.
Verse 16.
Yeah.
Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
Now, it says cursed shall thou be in the field. Now, who was cursed in the tobacco fields? In the cotton fields? In the sugar cane fields? Like, what race of people were cursed in these fields?
Black people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now go to verse 54. Actually, no, you go first.
Verse 54.
Yep.
So that the man that is tender among you.
So there used to be a time where we were tender among you. I would look at you and we would probably say, good morning, good afternoon, how's your day been? Read.
And very delicate.
Yep.
His eye shall be evil towards his brother.
So now the curse is that our eye shall be evil towards his brother. As I was saying earlier, who's the people that are killing each other? Who's the people that, how many stabbing rates, how many death rates that are happening to one particular set of people? Who would you say that is?
Black people.
Yeah. Exactly, really?
And toward the wife of his bosom.
Yeah.
And towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
Which he shall what?
Which he shall leave.
What race of people do you think have most fatherless homes, where the fathers are leaving their wives and leaving their children? Exactly. So as we said earlier, that these curses will be an identifying system, a sign of who those people are. Who would you say that the children of Israel are today? Black people, right? Exactly. So what would that make you? So what would that make you? Exactly. No, an Israelite. An Israelite.
Yeah, but I said Jew.
Exactly. So you're Jew. But the only thing is,
our key for land.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. You know, they came and then they took our land, and then they inhabited themselves there, and they professed.
There's no settlement there.
Exactly.
They can't be a settlement there.
1948.
Yeah.
Right. Chapter 21, verse 24.
Yeah.
and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations.
So this is talking about the time when we were in Jerusalem and we were inhabiting ourselves there. And then what happened was the Romans came and they exactly and they took us out.
I'm alone now. God, the curse us too, because we run out and do a joke. No water, not have to keep traveling and traveling and traveling.
Get Zephaniah 3 verse 10.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
So what happened was Jerusalem, or where we were, was trodden down by the Gentiles, meaning the other nations. So what happened is they took us out of there and they inhabited themselves in there, and then they started calling themselves Jewish or Jews.
Zephaniah 3 verse 10. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia shall my suppliants, even the daughters of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering.
Okay, so what happened was when they were taken out of Jerusalem, they were then brought to, they were taken out of the other side of Ethiopia. You know, the Ethiopian River is what separates Israel and Africa. So what happened is, exactly, so what happened was we crossed the Ethiopian River to get into parts of West Africa. That's what we were reading earlier about the curses that will happen upon us. And if you go to verse 68, Deuteronomy 28, 68.
About Sudan, I'm thinking Moses walking down Sudan back in those days. Moses was walking down Sudan land in those days. Exactly. So we made down Sudan.
And we are the only race of people that actually do these kind of like.
But I think our black will start from Sudan still. In my head. My head. Things are black people. I'll start from this land of Sudan, start travel on.
Okay. I can't speak too much on that because I personally don't know myself. But you got that.
But I hear nobody talk about Sudan. In the Bible too?
I mean, so when you go into Genesis, you see that civilization started in the area of Babylon, like around the Crescent Moon area. It's like around, I believe it's close to Euphrates, correct me if I'm wrong, in that area, Crescent Moon. So it's like a Crescent Moon shape going from Babylon, all the way up until you have like Egypt, Israel, and it kind of curves round down in that Mesopotamia. So it's not entirely Sudan, but not entirely. It's not entirely.
Yeah, cool. So let's get back to what we were saying about our people first. So read that Deuteronomy 28 verse 68.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Now, this is after we were already taken out of Egypt. So go to Exodus 22. The word Egypt actually means bondage, because when you look at what we were actually doing in Egypt, we were under slavery, we were under affliction, we were under bondage. So when he says that, he says that we're going to be taken into Egypt again, it means we're going to be taken into bondage, into slavery, into captivity. Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
Now, what race of people went into slavery on ships?
Black people.
Exactly. So this is another identifier to show that we are the children, we are the Most High God, we are the Israelites. Do you know what I'm saying? So now we know we're the Israelites, Deuteronomy 10 and 12. There's actually certain requirements that God has for us. You know, it's not a case whereby we find out that we're Israelites and we just carry on living our lives and we just, have a certain pride about it. Like, there's actually things that the Most High God actually requires of us. Read that.
Deuteronomy 10 verse 12. And now Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes which I command thee this day for thy good.
Exactly. And this is what we need to do now. Now we know we're the Israelites, we have to keep the Lord's commandments, we have to keep his statutes, because as we read earlier, that's the reason why we were given those curses, and that's the reason why we're living like this today. So in order for us to actually for this to change and to go back into having a pure relationship with the Most High God, we have to actually keep his commandments. Because John 14 verse 15, because in order to actually love the Most High God, it's all well and good saying it, but it's an actionable thing. Like love is actionable. It's not a thing where you say Luke 6 verse 46 and 1 Samuel 2 and verse 3. Like, this is it's an important thing that we actually have to make actions. The Lord doesn't take our voice, he doesn't take what we say and then it's done. We actually have to do something.
Luke chapter 6 verse 46. And why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say.
So why would we call him Lord, Lord, and not do the things that we say? Why are we using our voice to speak and to pray to him when we're not actually doing the things that he's actually requiring of us?
Verse 47, whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and doeth them, I will show you to whom he is like. He is like a man which built an house and digged deep and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon the house and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock.
So we want to be founded upon a rock. We want to have deep foundations. It's all that's the people that hear and the people that just that's the reason why they just fall into other things. I can tell you this, and then later on, if you haven't built the foundations today and have the mindset to actually apply yourself with actions to do these things and to keep the Lord's commandments, you're gonna walk down to, I'll say probably that bin and forget everything I said. And that's the truth about it. But you have to,
you know that?
because in order for you to actually think, in order for you to actually do these things, you must make a decision today that you're gonna actually apply the actions to do those things. You know what I'm saying? Read it.
John 40 verse 15.
Yeah.
If you love me.
No, sorry, you get Nathan, you didn't get that.
1 Samuel chapter 2 verse 3.
Yeah.
Talk no more so exceedingly proudly.
Yeah.
Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. For the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed.
So by him actions are weighed. So it's your actions that's going to be the weighing factor. Your actions are what God's going to look at in order for him to actually pour into you. Do you get what I'm saying? So now let's look at what some of these actions are. Let's start with Leviticus 11 verse 7. Because his actions are for us to keep his law, statutes, and commandments. But the reason why we're in this situation today is because, as it says in Isaiah 4:6, we forgot them. But that's because of what's happened. Can you get Daniel 7 and verse 25? Because what's happened is we've gone into a generation where they haven't been teaching these things. They haven't been teaching us the law, statutes, and commandments. If anything, they want us to forget who we are. And that's what's happening. Can you get what's happening is that they want us to forget who we are. But this is what we read that.
The book of Daniel chapter 7 verse 25.
Yeah.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
Change times and what?
Change times and laws.
So that's what's happening. So right now we're in a time where we're being worn out, where they're trying to wear us out by changing times, by changing laws, by making us not be able to remember who we are. By doing this, they've done this by how? Changing times and laws.
Isaiah chapter 1 verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doeth not know, my people doeth not consider.
Now we're in a time where our people don't even care. We don't care who we are. We can live our lives saying, I'm Ghanaian, I'm Jamaican. But what does that actually mean? What roots does that actually have? Now you know you're a Jamaican. Exactly, and it's important for us to know who we are so that we know what we must do. Do you get what I'm saying? So, what do you get? Yeah. So now we know that our people they're trying to wear us out and making us forget who we are, forget what we have to do. Let's understand the things that we have to do.
Leviticus 11 verse 7. And the swine. Though he divide the hoof.
Now, do you know what swine is? Pork, exactly,
And be though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall ye not touch, and of their carcass of their flesh shall ye not eat, and of their carcass shall ye not touch.
So now we're instructed to not eat pork. Pork is something that is unclean. If you look at, they're actually the dustbins of the earth. And when God's giving you His commandment, He's not giving it to you in vain, because He's the creator, He's the author of your body. He designed you perfectly. And He knows exactly what is supposed to go into your body and what is not. So the reason why He gave this as a commandment is because He said what is unclean unto you. So pork is something that we should not eat. Let's get Numbers 15 and verse 36. There he is. Now you might be wondering what brothers are wearing here.
Yeah? They passed through last week, so we passed through again, you know. Nice to meet you, brother. Nice to meet you, brother. Alright, sister. We catch back next week, I was here last week still,
Alright, no
You're crazy. Take care.
Them themselves, they don't even know what they're doing. A lot of the time they don't.
Matthew 15 verse 14. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch.
That's exactly what self-proclaimed pastors are doing. You know, they're leading the blind. Them themselves are blind, and they're leading the blind, and they're both going to fall into a ditch.
See that?
They're both going to fall into destruction. What kind of nonsense? Yes, brother. Yes, brother. You've got 2 minutes for the word of God. What nation are you? What nationality are you, sir?
What nationality am I?
Yeah. Jamaican. Now, where do you see Jamaican in the Bible, sir? Do you see Jamaican in the Bible?
Where is Jamaican in the Bible?
The word Jamaican, is that in the Bible? Who has God identified you as? How has God identified you?
Out the water.
Child of God. Now, what is the requirements as a child of God? Yeah, come, let's speak. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes, sir. Thank you very much.
Zachariah.
Great. Now, you just said that you're a child of God, right? Now, what's the requirements of a child of God? Being a child of God, what's the requirements? How do you become a good son? How are you a good son?
By obeying your father.
Alright. Now, how do we obey the Father? A lot of us have. The way we obey how we obey the Father is by keeping the rules that you follow. Now, would you say as a race of people, that's what we're doing? You look around and you look at your brothers and sisters, so that's the reason why we're in this situation.
It's natural.
Because the reason why we're in this situation is because we haven't obeyed our Father. We haven't been good sons. We haven't been good sons. And that's the reason why we're in this situation.
Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. That thou should be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children.
That's right. Now we are forgotten children. We are forgotten people. That's why we're living with them. But it's your duty, sir, to come back into the obedience of God, so that you be able to live a righteous life. Because righteousness, Deuteronomy 6 and 25, righteousness is actually what? It's the law, statutes, and commandments. The law, statutes, and commandments is what provides righteousness.
Deuteronomy 6 verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us.
Now, would you like to be a righteous person? Is that something you strive to be, a righteous person? Great. So now, would you just give us a couple minutes to give you a few laws and statutes to show that you have to keep, so that you'll be able to uphold a righteous life?
Uphold the righteous life.
Great. And let me just show you a few commandments that you may have not heard of before, and that will allow you to live a righteous life. Can you go Leviticus 11?
Leviticus 11 verse 7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof,
Now, do you know what swine is? Yes.
and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you.
So the rule that God has said, swine, pork and pig, it's unclean to you. Do you eat pork yourself? That's great, because that's another thing. That's the reason, as I read earlier, why we're in the situation we're in today. Because we have forgotten the laws of God, and first it's not being taught. You know, Daniel 7 and 25.
I don't deal with the people.
That's good, and that's great, and that's something that resonates in the spirit.
It's unclean.
It is unclean.
That's right.
And that's something that is spoken about in the Bible. The Bible has said that, and that resonates in the spirit. Because you, as you said, you'll be a child of God, but get Exodus 4 and verse 22. You'll be a child of God, but there's a specific name that God has called you. And it's important to know what that is, so that you know how you're supposed to live.
Exodus 4 verse 22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son.
So he said, you are the son of God. So Israel is my son. So what would that mean? So if the Israelites said to Pharaoh that, sorry, so I can read that again.
Exodus 4 verse 22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
So Israel is my son, even my firstborn. So God called Israel his son, and we are the sons of God. So what would that make? That make the Israelites. So get Deuteronomy 29 and verse 1. Because right now, the reason why we're in the situation we are, again, is because we don't know who we are. We don't know what nationality we are. Because Jamaica has never been there for Asians. That wasn't what it was called before. And that's not the name that you had years before. It was a specific name that you were given. And that's something that has been forgotten by our people.
Deuteronomy 29 verse 1.
Yeah.
These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel. To make with the children of Israel.
According to the Bible, and I can show you that people get 20 verse 15. What's happening now is that one, we're not keeping the Lord's statutes, right? And two, we don't know who we are. So it's important that we do these two things so that we are able to live a righteous life, as you said earlier, according to the Bible.
Deuteronomy 20 verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So right now we're going to read a few curses that were put on the children of Israel to show them, and get verse 46.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Upon thy what?
Upon thy seed forever.
So these curses I'm about to read will be upon our seed forever, and it will be used as a sign to show that we are the children of Israel. Get verse 54.
Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate.
There used to be a time where our people were very tender and delicate towards each other. Read.
His eye shall be evil toward his brother.
The curse is that our eye shall be evil towards our brother. When you look at our people, what's happening right now? Brothers are killing our brothers. You know, we're all stabbing each other, shooting each other. That is a curse that was put on our people. Read it.
And toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
What race of people has the highest rates of fatherless homes, of fathers leaving their children? It's our people. And this is a curse that was placed upon us because we didn't keep his laws, we didn't keep God's laws, we didn't keep his statutes, we didn't keep his commandments. That's why it's extremely important for us as a people to one first to know who we are and come back into the law, statutes and commandments of God.
So what problem is that?
I respect it's giving you some works, positive works. Just keep it up. Yeah, man, just keep it up. I really proud of you.
Thank you.
I really proud. Yeah, I'm not proud of you, man. Like you're spiritually, you're uplifting.
The best thing I can do, get Isaiah 61. The best thing I can do is give you the scripture.
Well, the Bible says, let us reason together.
God. God.
And this is what we do. We're not reasoning.
Let us reason together.
That's right.
Isaiah 61. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me.
Because He anointed me and I to preach the gospel. Not true?
Yeah, preach the good tidings.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Read that.
To preach the good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted. To proclaim liberty to the captives. And the opening of the prison to them that are bound. To proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God. To comfort all that mourn.
So this is what's happening right here. That's what we're trying to do.
Come unto me, all you that labor, and I heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take your yoke upon me and learn of me from meek and lowly now.
See that?
You shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden. Amen.
See that?
Just before you go, can I get that? It's got all the information there.
Yeah, man. I'm not proud of you. Just keep up the good work. Yeah, just keep up the good work. Because, you know, as you're going on, the devil try to speak to you. To deviate you from God. But you're on the right track. Just keep strong and firm. Yeah? May God bless you. Yeah?
I'll praise you.
Let's go to.
I need to hear YouTube too. Go to YouTube. I want to hear YouTube guys. And YouTube, I'm going to hear you talk. Yeah, YouTube me here talk. I'm going to say no.
Hey, Bob, you got 2 minutes for the word as well? See that?
Let's go Proverbs 21. Because it's important to understand not only who we are, but who we have around us. It's extremely important. Read that.
Proverbs 11 verse 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished.
The what?
The wicked shall not be unpunished.
So it's important now we understand who we are, but we need to understand the people we have around us. Now, there's the people that God has called as the wicked. Let's get Job 9 and 24. Because not only do we need to understand who we are, but we need to understand who the enemy is.
Oh, the enemy.
Because who we will sold to, we will sold it to our enemy. Right?
But the seed of the righteous shall be delivered.
The what?
The seed of the righteous shall be delivered.
And that's us. Because we're the seed of the righteous. You know, we are going to be delivered from this captivity that we're in right now. Whether you like it or not, people, whether you like it or not, Black, Hispanic and Native American, we are in captivity. We are not in our land. We are not in our righteousness. At the moment, we are in captivity. And though our hand, we join hand with the wicked one, we need to understand, first of all, who we are and understand who they are. Have you got that? Job 9. Yes, sir. Have you got 2 minutes for the word of God? 2 minutes for the word of God, sir.
Sorry?
You got 2 minutes for the word of God. So what country are you from? So okay, how would you identify yourself? How would you identify yourself? As a person? A spirit? Okay, cool. But in terms of what country are you from?
I don't have a country, I come from a mother.
Your mother?
No, I don't.
Okay. Alright.
One other.
Alright. What would you say?
If we mention country, you forget your mother and father. The Bible told you to honor your father and mother.
100%. That's true. No, that's true, I understand. But the Bible itself has also given you an identity. That's what I'm trying to deliver by asking that question. So, the issue...
Yeah, it's a bit... Watchmen again.
Now, have you heard of the Israelites? Right? Now, Deuteronomy 28 verse 15.
Deuteronomy 20 verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee to overtake thee.
Go that way. Where are you going, man? Damn. What the hell?
Again, verse 46.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Now, a sign is something that you use to identify something, right? So it said these curses that we're going to read will be a sign and a wonder upon thy seed forever. Go to verse, let's go to verse 48.
Verse 48. And it reads, Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
Now, you as a people, before you need anything, who do you go for anything? Clothes, water, food. What race of people do you go to? Okay, but who owns everything for you to go? Huh? Would you say that? Okay, go Job 9:24.
It's the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
So if we own everything, we should be going to something.
No.
See?
But it's not talking to the specific people. Okay. So if you can identify specifically what you're talking about, be able to know who you are, the ability for you to distinguish between the people you're talking about and yourself, and the law and commandment that God has given people. And some people say many are called, but few are chosen. So you have to make sure you separate yourself from all these things to know which is which.
Okay, so let's see the people that are called. Can you get Psalms 119? Because as you're right, many have been called, but there are a specific group of people that have been called. And let's see exactly who they are.
Psalms 147 verse 19.
Yep.
He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Snitch ass carrot. That's it, that's it. See that?
That's it, that's it.
And they film our stuff too. They be filming our stuff too when we're doing that.
You're right.
So we find and a black because it's not a noun, it's an adjective to describe something.
100%, and I agree with you fully. 100% I agree with you. Read that verse 27.
And the Lord shall, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword.
Now, it said that you will become an astonishment, a proverb, a byword. Do you know what a byword is? So a byword is something that you'll be labeled as. So even being called black is a byword, and that's one of the curses that was going to happen to the Israelites, that will be given bywords. Even when you're referred to as, you're not going to call you nigger or something, that's a byword. But you know you're not that, you're more than that. But that's something that is going to be given to us, and that was a curse that was said that was going to happen unto the Israelites. So finish verse 68.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
So sold unto your enemies. Now, with this understanding, who would you say you are now? Knowing that you, as a race of people, we went through the curses that the Israelites are, who would you say you are?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, right? Israel as a word, right? Right? I'm not going to really say I'm an Israelite, but I will define myself as a spirit.
Okay.
Because not until when God read the desert then you became a living spirit.
Okay.
So I became a living spirit. My name only become like a title So I get what you're saying, right? You can still identify as an Israelite, you can prove it, but if I said I'm a Hebrew, you have to be identified with the word of God as spiritual from the beginning. You get my point?
I get what you're saying. So, but that's the thing though.
That's not
I
nice.
get what you're saying, as we are, because we're all spirits. But it's
The identification.
Exactly. But and with that, the identification also allows you to walk into the commandment. Because you know, Deuteronomy 7 and verse 14, because you know the commandment itself is a spiritual thing. So in order for your spirit to resonate, you must resonate with the commandments. Like that?
Romans 7 verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual. But I am carnal, sold under sin.
That's the thing, so the law is spiritual. So in order for your spirit to resonate, you must be keeping the law. So you get what I'm saying? To keep it, and that's why it's important for us to understand who we are, because we weren't keeping the law. We weren't doing the spiritual thing as keeping the law. That's why we're in the situation that we're in today. That's why I'm not disputing your argument of us being spirits. It's true.
We don't have it. It's a call. That's also the reason.
John 4.
What we're doing now, we're not doing that.
Of course.
The reason.
100%. I agree.
I agree. He even told you not to get anybody with a fanciful argument. I don't want to do that. But people get people arguing for the reason to
100%.
as a brother.
100%.
John 4 verse 24. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth.
So God is a spirit. Get Psalms 119 verse 116. So it says God is spirit, so we must worship him in spirit and in truth. Now let's understand what the truth side of it is. But that Psalms 119 verse 160.
160.
Yeah.
Psalms 119 verse 160.
Yep.
Thy word is true from the beginning, and every one of thy righteous judgments endureth forever.
Okay, cool. Actually, go to verse 142.
Verse 142.
Yep.
Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
Thy what?
Thy law is the truth.
So, in order for us to worship Him and in spirit and in truth, we must be keeping the law, because thy law is the truth. That's why I'm saying to you, it's important to know who you are, because if you don't know who you are, you won't know the laws that you have to keep, and you won't understand what God has required of you, because God has actually required us to keep the law. Get Deuteronomy 10 and verse 12.
Deuteronomy 10 verse 12, it says, and now Israel, what does the Lord thy God require of thee?
So he's revived. He's actually said to you, now Israel, right? What does the Lord require of you? Read.
But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good.
So he said to you, now Israel, what do we require? He said to fear him and to love him and to keep his commandments. That's why it's important that we know who we are, so that we are able to keep his commandments. Does that make sense? So I just want to take you through a few commandments that we may have to, that we have to keep, that we actually have to keep. Get the
commandment has come true.
Okay.
After the 10,
Yep.
I love your neighbor. All the 10 commandments is similar to 2.
Are you talking about when Christ said that of all the commandments, these are 2? Can someone get them? You know,
the 10, but if I love you, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, cool. But do you know, even with that, it doesn't take
nullify, right?
It actually outlines and summarizes them, because, for example, there's a commandment in Leviticus 11 and verse 7, Leviticus 19 and verse 17. Get that quickly.
Leviticus 19 verse 17.
Yeah.
And it reads, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart, for thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
So if you were doing something wrong and I just let you do it, am I loving you? So that's what Christ was saying. In these laws, there are many laws that say specific things that you're supposed to do that shows love towards your brother, and so love towards your neighbor, and loving God. So you got that.
Matthew chapter 22, verse 36. Master, which is thy great commandment in the law? Jesus said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
Exactly. So all the laws that were stated in the Old Testament, they hang on these 2 things. These are the principal things about all those laws. It doesn't mean you don't have to keep those things. It means that these are the 2 things. It's the forefront. These are the things that are
2 most important.
Right. Because how do you actually love God? Can I ask that? Okay, but what does the Bible say? How does the Bible say to love God? So how can you ignore the commandments in the Old Testament and just hang on 2 things of loving your neighbor and yourself when it's been stated how to do that in the Old Testament? Do you get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm trying to deliver the commandments in the Old Testament, so that you're able to understand exactly how to love your neighbor and how to love God. Because if you don't read those things, you don't understand it, you won't know how to do it. Because I can tell you that I love you, and I could allow you to go and do whatever, but I've said it to you. But there's actionable things that has to be done, and those actionable things that have to be done is written in the Old Testament. So
I have to
no problem at all.
Thank you so much.
Can I give you a leaflet?
You doing well?
What's your tribe? What tribe?
Tribe? I'm not tribe team. I speak Yoruba language, but I know Yoruba. You get that now?
Yeah.
Just language, like English.
Yeah.
I'm not English, just language. So we are more than all this. You know? Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Bye. What's the case?
Anti-nationality. 2 minutes. Okay. Yeah, man. Hey, Sirach 17 and verse 11. It's extremely important that we don't forget our heritage, man. And what's happening now is people want to over spiritualize things, man. Like, look, I ask you who you are. I'm not saying just say, like, I get you're trying to sound deep and whatnot, but do you know what I mean? Actually, just read that.
Sirach 17 verse 11.
Yeah.
Beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage.
Sorry, Auntie, have you got 2 minutes for the word of God? 2 minutes for the Bible? Yes, brother. 2 minutes, bro. You know you want to come.
Bro, 2 minutes, bro.
Just 2 minutes, bro. Come on.
He's a man.
Come on,
bro. Come, bro.
Come, man.
2 minutes, man.
He's coming as well.
See that?
Yes, man. And the thing is, I even said it to the mother. Eh? He's the one that did.
Kind of got a. Right, see that?
I read that, sorry.
Sirach 17 verse 11.
Yeah.
And it reads, beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage.
The law of what?
The law of life for an heritage.
So the law is our heritage, man. This is something that we've forgotten. This is something that we neglect, that we don't even want to stand by. Because at the moment, you see men are just living wayward lives. They don't have any stability, they don't have any foundations, they don't have any principles, they don't have any obedience to anything else but themselves. And we all know that our heart is desperate and wicked to do all things according to Jeremiah 17 verse 9. So if that's how they want to live, that's why look now, what's he even doing? Man's just touching trees. What is even going on? Like, huh?
Preaching the gospel?
Yeah, but it's not for you. The gospel's not for you though.
Well, blessed are the peacemakers.
The gospel's not for you. How does that make you feel?
Gospel is the word of God.
Who's the word of God for?
Quran is for everyone.
Okay. Who's the word of God for? You're Muslim?
Yes, alhamdulillah.
See that?
You're Muslim. I mean, come, let's talk 2 minutes.
I have to go somewhere.
Come, man. Defend. Hey, come on, man.
I have to go somewhere.
Defend Islam, man. If Muhammad was here, what would he say?
What would you want to say? What do you want to say?
Man, let's talk. Let's talk about Islam.
What does Islam teach?
Islam teaches the wahdaniyya of Allah, wahidullah, one God, who's in charge of everything, the whole universe.
What's the God's name?
God's name is Allah Ar-Rahman. He's got 99 names in the Quran.
Okay, so let me tell you something about that. Islam came to do what? Abolish idol worship, right?
Yes.
So why is it that the main Kaaba, and the main where all the idols were before Muhammad came, why is that still there? Why do people still go there to pray?
Oh, the place.
Kaaba, because the Kaaba, right, was housed, used to house all the
yes, that's correct.
the idols. But the thing is, you guys purposely left one idol. And you know what was the black stone, the Kaaba stone.
Okay, before you finish, Abraham built that house.
No.
That's in the Quran.
No.
We should all say.
You worship an idol.
You worship
No, but what should we face? Shall I tell you something? We should all be calling everyone towards God. Let's forget the difference.
No.
The wicked flee.
The what?
The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are as bold as a lion.
Praises.
Hey. He didn't know. We got cracking, man.